Let's talk about renting Giant Connect 4s. Hello everyone, my name is Vitali. I am the owner of VK Party Supply. I started my business in January of 2024 and now we are in January 2025. So when I was starting off my business, I started with just one Giant Connect 4. Initially my thought was going to be just yard games and like fun activities, that kind of stuff, until I then expanded into tables, chairs, and all that other fun stuff. But it all started with a Giant Connect 4, and to this day, it continues to be one of the most popular items that I offer for rent. So, what I want to do today is just do a little brief discussion on the different types of Giant Connect 4s that I have seen being used or rented in the industry, and which one I use and why I recommend sticking with the one that I have. Now, I'm not saying that the other options don't work, they definitely do. This is just kind of my recommendation and what I've seen works best for me. So let's just kind of get right into it. The first kind that I want to talk about are the wooden ones that are about 2.5 feet wide or so. These ones, compared to the original tabletop size ones, you can still count them as giant, but they're not that big. You still want to be able to place them either on a tabletop, or if you do put them in the grass in somebody's yard, you still kind of have to crouch down, either be on your knees or sitting down to be able to play. Now, wooden ones look nice. I think they go very well with weddings or other formal events, and since they are smaller, they're a little bit easier to transport, a little bit easier for the client if they're picking it up, and it works well. The concern or problem that I have with it is I don't see it giving that, it doesn't have that eye-catching moment, if that makes sense. If you're gonna be renting a Giant Connect 4, I feel like it needs to be a Giant Connect 4. Something that's a little bit bigger, but you still have to kind of crouch down in order to be able to play it. I feel it doesn't have that same like emphasis. It doesn't have that like eye-catching moment of like people want that at their party. It works great if you're doing a variety of games. You can throw it in with other types of games. It keeps guests occupied, like I said, during weddings. Not a bad option to have, but personally, it's not my number one recommendation, but I have seen it be used and it works for some in the area. The second type that I want to talk about are the much larger wooden Giant Connect 4s. Now we're entering like the 4 foot wide ones where you can set up at a wedding, you can stand and play it. Looks very nice, looks very neat, looks very elegant. I think they work very well for like a wedding setting. If you're doing it more for guests rather than children, I think it's a really nice touch. You match it up with other wooden yard games, like if you have like Giant Connect 4. Sometimes you have a cornhole or like a custom made cornhole. It kind of follows a theme and they look very nice, kind of matching all together. One of the problems that I have with them is they do tend to be heavier since they are wooden. Transport can be a little bit more difficult. Depending on the ones you get, you can disassemble them or you might not be able to, so you have to always transport it in the fully sized setup as it is. The other problem that I see with it is you could always damage the wood in case there's bad weather that happens. Now you might get some rain on it. Wood and rain doesn't work very well together. As much as nice as they look and as elegant as they look for weddings, I think they're perfect. But again, it's not one of the ones that I use. I wouldn't mind having one of this style specifically for like summertime weddings, but it's not my number one choice for those who are starting up in this industry. So I'll get to that here in number 3. And finally, we are going to come to number 3. I personally like these. I think they're easy to use, they're easy to transport. There are multiple companies that produce this style. They are the 4-foot big ones, but they're in the plastic versions. Sometimes you'll see them in different bright colors. I have a nice bright red and green one. It works very well for me, and I'll kind of explain why it works for me. Number one is it's still big, so it does catch people's attention, that they want that at their parties. Due to the size, due to the colors, it works well for both adults and for children. Yes, it might not be as elegant looking, but it still does work in wedding settings, but it also works in various other parties, children's birthday parties, family reunions, graduation parties. It's more of a fun piece rather than trying to keep it like the wooden ones where they kind of act both as like a decor item but as well as something that you can play. I feel like these plastic ones that are colorful just kind of bring you in. You want to play it. It kind of draws your attention. That's why I think it's been kind of pretty popular, at least for me, in this area. People always call and want to go ahead and rent it. The nice thing is also it disassembles. It fits into a nice carrier bag. It's not super heavy. It's easy to transport, easy to set up, easy to take down. And online they actually have replacement pieces if you ever do need them. In case you damage one of the rings, in case you lose a ring, there's always availability online for replacement parts. And so it's my go-to Giant Connect 4, and I'm glad that I started off with it too. I don't necessarily remember why I started with it, but it drew me in. Again, I think because of the colors, because of the size, because of the interest, it drew me in to get it and to add it for my inventory, and that's what I started off with. Pretty much just on the Giant Connect 4. When I was testing it out before I became like officially a business, I think it was July of 2023. I was just testing it out, and everybody wanted it that summer. It was around 4th of July. It was around the time when everybody was off of school, just parties, get-togethers. Everybody just wanted to rent the Giant Connect 4 that I had. So if you're looking to start in this business, I think it would be good to have a variety. But if you were to start, I would start with the giant 4-foot plastic ones. I got mine off of Amazon. I know there's multiple versions of it on Amazon, but make sure when you do order, get ones that have a carrier bag. I did have a carrier bag. I messed it up, got it all dirty, ripped up. Went to order a replacement bag. Did not work very well with the Giant Connect 4 that I had, so I had to order another bag that fit much nicer. My recommendation is if you're buying from a company that does have this Giant Connect 4, make sure that they also produce bags for this specific Giant Connect 4, because some of them have slight different variations. You might have the poles that the rings slide onto stick out. Some of them stick in. They could be a little bit wider, they could be a little skinnier, so you want to be able to get the bag that matches the product that you have. It's going to make it so much easier for transport, so trust me with that. So pretty much there's multiple options for Giant Connect 4s that you can start with. I think in the end, if you're really going to be focusing on yard games, it would be nice to have a variety of them. But again, my recommendation is starting with a nice bright colored plastic one that's just going to grab people's attention, and you're going to start getting orders. So pretty much for me, that's it. I just wanted to keep it nice and short today. Just wanted to talk to you about Giant Connect 4s. There's so many other variety of yard games that you can go with. Mix and match. Try out what works. Get various games, get various styles of the same game. Test out your area, because what works for me might not work for you, or what works for you might not work for me. So experiment, keep at it. Don't give up. If one doesn't work, try out another. And in the end, I'm pretty sure everything's gonna work out for you. So keep up the hard work. Good luck. Thank you for all of you who join in, who subscribe, and who watch my videos. And I'll see you guys next time.